welcome to another episode of the Making History podcast. Do you want to do the intro today, Layla?
Oh, yes. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, why, thank you. On the day this podcast goes live, it's my birthday.
Yes.
And I'm turning 44.
She's the ripe young age of 44.
Yeah. So I always have, so we bought party hats, but I always have a big birthday sale in my pattern shop on my birthday. So if you need some sewing patterns or sewing stickers or my quilting books or my tote bag, it's all on sale for my birthday. So you can go to either pincutsewstudio.com/shop or etsy.com/pincutsew and you can shop with a discount code. Not a code, sorry. It'll just all be on sale.
We'll send you a party hat.
No, we won't.
We have a lot of them.
So today we're going to talk about buttons. Isn't that exciting?
That is exciting.
Layla, what do you think a button is? Like, describe one.
Describe a button?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the cavemen back in the day, they discovered wheels and then went, I could put this on a cardigan. And they...
That is not exactly how it went, but...
It was pretty close, right?
Buttons are actually as old as you just said.
Yeah.
However, they weren't actually used as fasteners in the beginning. They were more like decorative.
Oh, that's cute.
So, like you think of like in certain cultures, they would have like, I don't know, like tiger's teeth for every tiger they killed or something. I don't know. It was kind of like that. So buttons were ornamental and they were like a status symbol.
I'm sorry, my hat keeps...
You can just take it off if you want. But before we jump in, did I miss anything in introducing ourselves? I'm Nikki. This is my daughter, Layla. And in Making History podcast, we talk about the history of our crafts, sewing, quilting, and all kinds of crafts, and the people who loved them first. And today's topic was actually a listener's suggestion.
Oh, it was?
Yes, she told me about the National Button Society, and that really got the ball rolling.
She almost joined.
Yeah, I was like, I think I need to be a member. So I did pick up this book. The book is called All Buttons, Great and Small by Lucy Godoroha. Yeah, it's pretty good. Godoroha, something like that. And I will link this in the notes for sure because there's so much more covered in this book than we are able to talk about on a podcast episode. Yeah. But I was learning so much. And I actually have a giant button collection. Do you want to describe the button collection?
The button collection stays in a bin in her sewing room.
Not anymore. I organized it.
She did organize it, but when I was a kid, it stayed in a bin, and we would there were these like disco ball buttons, and they were half circles, and they had like sparkles all over them.
That's cute because I actually inherited this button collection from my mom, who inherited it from her mom. Yeah. And I used to play with those buttons when I was a kid. And then you guys played with them when you were a kid.
Yeah.
And then to add to the button bin, my husband's grandma's collection is also mixed in. So it's like a large collection of buttons, most of them older. And I have, of course, added to it. If you are making a shirt, though, and you need 6 or 8 of the same button, forget it. You're going to have to go buy some. So the history of buttons, like I said, is super old, but they weren't actually sewn on or used as closures yet. Like I said, they were just decorative. And there are actually some still existing ancient buttons from the Indus Valley. Do you remember discussing the Indus Valley when we were homeschooling?
I do, but I also do remember seeing those buttons.
Really?
Like online, yeah.
Really?
Pictures of them, like.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they still exist. They're made out of a curved shell. And like I said, they were like a status symbol or they were just decorative. But we still make buttons out of shells. This is the coolest thing I learned about buttons is that they're made out of so many different things. And it made me start, like I would see pictures and I'm thinking through my button collection like, oh my gosh, I actually think I have that button.
I have a button.
And some of them are worth a lot of money if they're real. Like, I'm not going to like try to sell them, but if they're real. We'll talk about button collecting later on in the episode also.
Cute.
But instead of buttons, do you know how they closed their garments? Think about like Bible times.
Wouldn't they either be like cord or like wraps?
Yeah.
They would some sort of tie.
Yeah, and then they started lacing things too. And then before there were like buttonholes, they would sometimes do this fancy double button contraption to where they like somehow hook together. I don't know.
Oh, like oh my gosh, they're like, it's like when you get like 2 hook shapes and they go like this.
Yes, something like that. Yeah,
I caught your drift.
And so during the Renaissance period, the buttonhole was invented, and that sort of changed history for good. because all of a sudden you had this closure and garments could be more fitted and garments could be more intricate because you had a way to close them besides just tying them.
Yeah.
So that is when garments started to become complex. Although this was very much a men's fashion thing up until a certain period of time. Yeah. So there was so much great opulence too in men's fashion. We're going to get to that a little bit later. But when you think about watching like a Jane Austen movie and how many buttons those men's clothes had.
Yeah.
But the women's were still laced.
But I would think about like, the really small fabric buttons that are like all the way down the front.
But that wasn't really
to close the garment.
That I feel like you see a lot of that in like the Victorian era, but not really the Regency yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so then the buttonhole was invented, and then the Industrial Revolution happened, and you could all of a sudden make buttons by manufacturing them instead of making them by hand. And so this is when the industry exploded. But there were also like the earlier versions of it had like a button, there'd be a buttonhole, and then you have a button with like a rod attached to the back of it.
Oh, yeah.
So you would hook the buttons through both buttonholes on either side of the coat.
Yeah.
So it's coming out of both.
I have some old paintbrushes. They're in like a Japanese box, and they have that closure.
Oh, interesting.
Like they have like little fabric tunnels that were like starched, so they're like
right,
thick.
yeah.
And then they have a rod sewn on them, and you have to flip the rod, push it through.
Yes.
That's how it closes.
That is really interesting.
Yeah.
So they were getting pretty creative with this. And then they also had like what was called pin clasps, which was sort of the precursor of this. And it's sort of like a modern safety pin. So it would like hook the two buttonholes together. But it wasn't like we would think of a modern button with holes in it.
Yeah.
They still weren't there yet. But they did get there eventually, and they started making buttons out of more materials than just, because early buttons, of course, were like out of natural things you could find, even like petrified wood, bone, shell, all kinds of things like that. Even like dried plants, the sturdy ones, I would assume, like, how they, when we lived in Hawaii and they would make the big hats out of banana,
Take your tobacco
palms.
Butt and like flatten it down. And
yes, like you would roll a joint, exactly. Not like you would.
Not like I would.
Like
I've
people do. Okay, so anyway, once they were able to manufacture buttons differently, they could make them out of glass, porcelain, and eventually plastics. We've discussed plastics at length in another episode, but plastics are older than we think.
Yeah.
Interestingly. Eventually, there became a button-making trade, and do you know what those tradesmen were called?
Buttoneers.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
Which is fun because
like
we
a
have
boutonniere.
boutonnieres.
Yeah.
So I wonder how that became... Buttoneers became a boutonnieres, which is a different thing.
Boutonniere. It's probably a Brit.
I mean, there's an extra
They're like,
U.
a boutonniere. And they're all like, no.
Well, it's funny you say that because buttons were a very European obsession. And there was actually a lot of fighting.
Oh.
Just like when we discussed the sewing pattern industry, they were always trying to one-up each other.
That's
so
funny,
I think it was like France and... Yeah, England and France. But England was really good at innovating new ideas, and France was really good at the ornamental side.
Yeah.
And so both of them were kind of failing in the opposite way.
That's so funny.
I know.
Well,
if only they had gotten their minds together.
Yeah, they were making buttons up there in their castle.
Yeah, so they were like, there was just... but this is what drives, like, progress,
Yeah.
In fact, okay, this is interesting.
Okay, go ahead.
Side rant.
Okay.
My cousin was just visiting. She works in the Braille industry. And it's so interesting listening to her talk about her work. But her company accepts like ideas for new products from people who work with Braille students and stuff. Mm-hmm. But they have to be innovative ideas because they receive government funds and the government wants American ideas to be
the best.
Like above. They want them to go past what's been made before. So you can submit an idea, but if it's not new and unique, they won't fund it. And this is how things in modern countries, like this is how technology has progressed all of these centuries.
Have you heard of the fight for a new element?
No.
There's this really good YouTube video. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
And like a bunch of, I think it was like Russia and the US were like fighting to try and find, elements are like laid out on like this periodic table. And when you add one electron and one neutron, it makes a new element or whatever.
Yeah.
There were these
teachers.
Yeah, thank you. Loved that YouTube video. There were like these two guys fighting over trying to put and it has to put an electron and a neutron in the
Right.
latest
Okay, yeah.
element, and then like.
So
But
like a
then it has
man-made
to-
element, though.
Yeah, but then they had to like stabilize it for a long enough time. And it was this whole like big fight between like Harvard and France or whatever.
Oh,
I don't
interesting.
know. I'll send it to you. It was a
Okay.
really good video.
We'll put it in the notes because she probably missed some details there.
Oh yeah, a ton. I'm probably wrong about half the things I just said. So.
I do think it's interesting how progress gets made.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for all countries' contributions because when you think about tech especially, so many different countries have contributed to the advancement. So interesting.
Built out of competitiveness.
Yes, it's that competitive
Yeah.
spirit, and America has it in spades.
Yeah.
But America's not really involved in this button controversy. We were too young.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you imagine, okay, like I was saying, the decorative
Yes.
opulence. So in the 18th century, though, was kind of the height of men's opulence. I was thinking of the scene in the beginning of Beauty and the Beast, the live action one,
Yes.
and those French costumes.
crazy.
Like they were just done up in what we would like in modern eyes looks very in a feminine way. But they were like the men's clothing was so opulent and so ruffly and lacy and had buttons all over the place. Even their shoes, even their socks had buttons.
Yeah. Well, they were just filthy rich.
They were very, very
And their
rich.
poor country
You're right. You're
was-
right. Yeah. And then you think about the military. Because then we enter into times of war and all of those metal military buttons.
Yeah.
I have a very cool factoid about the military buttons at the
Okay.
end, along with
Oh,
another
then.
really cool factoid.
Okay.
So stick with me. So after the military, and this is true even today, the military fashion became sort of a fashion look to emulate in ready-to-wear clothes. Well,
Yeah.
back then they weren't ready-to-wear. Now, though, we still do that.
Yeah.
We still emulate that double-breasted like vest look with the metal buttons, don't you think?
Yeah. And people my age buy old military uniforms, and then wear them. Like they usually crop them,
Yeah.
chop it to a good length, and then they like wear them out because
Yeah.
it's very like big.
Which is acceptable, actually. We are an army family, and people wonder, am I supposed to wear this? You can,
But you have to rip everything off, like the name and the ranks.
do not wear the rank. It's
Don't wear
called
ranks.
stolen valor.
You have stolen someone's valor.
I mean, when you find that stuff at the Goodwill, though, they don't have the
Yeah, they should.
smart
not.
people who know,
Yeah.
tear them off before they donate them.
But like estate sales and stuff, usually they're sold as like collectibles.
Oh, interesting.
So they keep the ranks
so
on
they
there.
would have the rank because we do have we have Peapod's old uniforms.
Yeah, so like
Interesting.
if you're gonna wear something you get from an estate, they'll rip off all the stuff.
Yeah, or
But-
cover it somehow.
Cover it, or just like take the pins off and keep them.
Definitely
I don't
do
know.
not wear military rank you haven't earned is the key.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Wow, we were good at the side rants today.
Yeah.
I feel like that one applied though.
That one did apply, yeah.
Okay, so let's discuss the fact that men's buttons are on the right and women's are on the left.
Okay, yeah, I feel like there was some bullcrap stat about more men being left-handed and all women being right-handed. Okay. Like,
I did read some theories and that was not one of them.
oh, okay.
Because predominantly people are right-handed.
Yeah.
So
Although
that's just a
I've
fact.
always, can I go in one more small
Yeah.
insider? I have always had this theory that right-handed people more often are gonna, if there's a fork in the road and they get to pick either way, right-handed people are more often gonna go right, and left-handed people are more often gonna go left.
Do you think?
I think so, because my boss and some of my coworkers are left-handed, which is like a weird artist thing. I don't know why a ton of artists are left-handed.
Yeah, that is weird.
But like every time there's like two options, most of the time my left-handed coworkers go for the one on the left. And my right-handed, like I'll
That's really
always pick the
interesting.
right.
I sometimes pick the left because I like the word left better than I like the word right.
Really? Because sometimes I pick the left because I think about it and I go, I don't want to be a statistic, and I go for the left.
Okay. Wow.
Anyway.
We are free thinkers. Okay, so there are nobody really knows still. Sorry,
Okay.
I hate to break it to you.
No,
but
it's
some
okay.
theories are,
Okay.
even because most people are right-handed, so that's not a good theory.
Yeah.
Some people think it's about the armor way back when and how it overlapped because you have like a sword in your right. And so the idea was that nursing moms, because usually you hold your baby in your dominant hand.
See?
And you have your left hand free to do everything else.
Yeah.
So you're unbuttoning your nursing top
Okay.
with your left. So that's one idea.
Yeah, I can see that.
This one is the one I think makes most sense.
Okay.
Women had a lot of help dressing themselves, and so for the person buttoning them,
Oh.
the buttons would be the correct and easiest way.
Be the right way.
Whereas men more often dress themselves.
Okay, yeah, that one makes
But
sense.
this book seems to think none of them make total sense, and it just is a fluke that happened. Nobody knows why.
Or maybe it was like...
Maybe, because like a men's and women's, you think about those like underlayers they used to wear. We're pretty similar. Maybe it's just a way to tell the difference.
Or, okay, we can cut this out, but this isn't... when a guy and a girl fall in love.
I don't know where this is going. They're unbuttoning each other?
Yeah. So we'd be on the right-handed side,
But that doesn't. But then they'd both be on the same side. Unless only one of them is undressing the other one.
Yeah.
It's a theory. It was a good theory, Layla.
Thank you. I feel like it was close. Do you have any theories?
No, I thought the nursing one and the women
You don't have any fun theories,
had help
though?
getting dressed. Not really. Other than just women being like, yeah, I'm not doing this like men do it.
Oh.
I'm going to do it my way.
Okay, diva.
Maybe there was some prominent ladies dressmaker who very first started using buttons before most other people, and she did it wrong on accident, and then it just stuck.
Or she like copyrighted having buttons on the sides, so then the menswear people were like, oh no, so we'll put them on the other side.
There's that competitive spirit coming into play again.
Yeah, there we go. I think we figured it out.
That could be it. The patent thing is real.
Yeah, because it's so specific.
Yeah, patents are so specific. We learned that in the Levi's episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, moving on. If anyone else knows or has theories,
Yeah, let us know.
put those in the comments. Okay. It was actually a French company that supplied buttons for both sides of the American War. The American Civil War, the war between the states, depending on what you like to call it. So they provided for both the Confederate and the Union armies, which I think is interesting. They outsourced
That is interesting.
it. Okay, so by the mid-19th century, 2/3 of button consumers were still men.
Dang.
I know. But then, as buttons became more popular among women, they started to get more cute and fancy and decorative.
Yeah,
in a very feminine way.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of handmade buttons. Let me see why I marked this page.
Well, she sells our house. In fashion recently, people have been very big into buttons. Mm-hmm. Personally, the way that a lot of people are doing it is not my favorite, but it is cute visually. But basically, people are like, they're sewing buttons just kind of like all over like tops and stuff. Which,
I know what you mean. I know what you're talking about.
I think it looks very cute, but practicality-wise, I'm like, how are you washing that?
That's a really good point, especially because a lot of people don't know how to sew buttons on.
Yeah.
Okay. I actually just saw, I sent this to Natalie because I thought it was so cute. This girl made buttons out of shrink-eating plastic.
I've seen that. I think it's
it
really
was so cute. So she used like cute scrapbook papers and made a bunch of shrink-eating buttons, and then she put them down a cardigan.
Yeah.
So they're super cute.
That's
it's just
super
a
cute.
white cardigan, like a basic one.
It's right up Natalie's alley.
See? Yeah. She wanted
cute.
to try it. Okay, where were we?
You were looking up a page.
Oh, yeah, because these were so beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
Aren't these metal buttons so
Yeah,
pretty?
I like the face. That's cute.
We'll put these in the show notes. You can actually also see all the corresponding photos for this episode on our Instagram page, Making History Podcast.
Cute.
On Instagram, so that you can see all the visuals. It's hard talking about crafts without showing pictures, that's how we get around it. Okay, moving on. I guess we haven't taken a break yet.
Oh, should we take a break?
Should we take a quick break, and then we'll be right back to talk about all the different kinds of buttons that have been made, button collecting, and some fun facts. As you may have noticed, this podcast is free of sponsorships, meaning I'm not taking this break to read advertisements to you. That's not how I'm choosing to support myself doing this type of work for now. So that said, if you're enjoying this podcast and you would like to offer your support, there are a couple great ways you can do that. First, if you're into sewing and quilting or want to get into sewing or quilting, you can go over and watch my YouTube channel at Pin Cut Sew. And you can visit my pattern shop where I offer beginner-friendly PDF sewing patterns and tutorials, some fun sewing-related stickers, and even a few fun quilting books I've written. Go to www.pincutsewstudio.com/shop or find me on Etsy as Pincutsew. Another thing you can do is to leave a 5-star review on this podcast. Reviews go a long way in helping podcasts be presented to more listeners. So if you're enjoying this, I would so appreciate you taking the time to leave a quick positive review. Lastly, and perhaps most tangibly, you can simply donate to the Making History podcast by going to www.buymeacoffee.com/pincutsew and gift us a little something there. And I do indeed promise to take Layla out to coffee. All of these links will be in the show notes below. So let's get back to the show. Okay, let's talk about how all the different materials that buttons are made out of. I actually got out some of my favorite buttons because I had new eyes to look at them with after I went through this book. So what do you list some materials that buttons can be made out of now?
Turtle.
Yes, tortoise shell. I forgot about that one. That's one of the earlier ones.
I love turtle. Wait, let me think. Wood.
Yeah.
I have a shirt with frog buttons on them that are fabric.
Mm-hmm. Fabric buttons. Yes, that was one of the earlier models too.
Metal.
Because they were inexpensive. Fabric buttons.
And they're super cute. What's that shiny stuff?
Brass. The military buttons?
They're flat and they're white and they're kind of iridescent.
That's usually opalite. I
my gosh, is that a Taylor Swift reference?
Oh my gosh. So my favorite section in this book was actually the glass buttons.
Ooh.
They are so beautiful.
Very pretty.
Let me show you some examples.
Oh.
Look.
Yeah, that's so pretty.
This fun. The glass ones are so colorful. And they have a lot of inlaid things in them. So that's why I think they were my favorites.
Those kind of look like in the Magic School Bus when they would talk about germs.
Yes, it does look like a germ. You're right. Yeah, beautiful.
Wow.
Here's a glass one to imitate gemstones. It's like a flower of emeralds with little opal-looking things in between.
Pretty.
So beautiful. So this is the section I spent the most time in. I actually don't have any glass. Well, I'm sure I do have some, but none ornate like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're so pretty. And then of course you can make buttons out of pottery. And I have.
Yeah.
Layla and I go to a lot of estate sales, as you probably know. And I got some buttons at an estate sale, and they're called clay wares. They were made in Nashville, Tennessee. So there's a set of 5. I don't know if you can see. And they're kind of a clover shape made out of clay.
Cute.
And then I
love these.
At an estate sale also, I got these really cool playing card symbols, and these are what do you think these are made out of? Pottery, clay?
Yeah, clay and then dipped in glaze.
Yeah.
Wait, hide your face.
And there's a diamond, heart, spade, and clover.
No, it's not gonna work.
I'll put a picture of them on Instagram. These are so cute. I don't know what I'm gonna use them for.
You could give them to me.
I did find, when I was on eBay looking at buttons, I found this set that I have, and I saw them on eBay. And these are hand-painted little Holly Hobby buttons.
She's so cute.
And this Les Boutons, if you find any of those, how do we make it focus?
Move your face. Yeah, there we go.
If I find, what was I about to say?
If you find any Les Boutons.
Oh, yeah, then those are likely vintage. So I got these at an estate sale also. And I just thought the Holly Hobby was so cute.
That's cute.
And I saw these on eBay yesterday. I also found some metal buttons in my stash. And these actually, now that I've read the book, seem pretty darn old. One of them has a family crest in the middle, do you think? I'll have to try to take a picture that will show it in its detail if I can to put on the Instagram page. You have a button?
I have a button.
Yeah, go get it.
I didn't know there was be show and tell.
Then I also have, these ones are just from Walmart, but they're little kitties, plastic kitties. So cute.
Okay, this button, it doesn't have the actual button part, so you can't use it.
Oh, the shank came off.
But it's a flame.
Wow, so this is a
crest.
Metal button. It looks like, is it metal or plastic? I think it's plastic. Oh, it's metal.
Metal.
You're so smart. Yeah, that's cool.
Isn't it cute?
I'm trying to figure out what it is. They're so small. Oh, it looks like a clown.
Well, those are, hang on. It kind of looks like the, because these look like snakes. It looks like the medical, in mythology, there was that guy.
It does look like that.
He was known as the healer, and a snake was his whatever, and that's where that
that's
medical,
why the medical symbol has
thing.
snakes. Okay, and then there's also, we have this favorite antique store here. Louisville has so many good antique stores, but there's one called Fleur de Flis, and one of the booths there always has vintage buttons. And so I always go look. They seem to replenish them pretty often whenever they find them because I always find different ones. But I noticed that they had these cards, or maybe I got this at the thrift store down the street. But anyway, it's a bunch of different buttons sewn onto a card.
That's cute.
And they're all old. And I was like, oh, that's sweet. Somebody sewed them on just for safekeeping, I guess. But then I started learning about button collectors. And this is a big thing, you guys. Like,
really?
Yes. So when that person told me there was a National Button Society, I was like, what? You're joking.
Yeah, that's
so your state might have one. Your county might have one. You can get together and discuss buttons. And honestly, it sounds really fun. Because there's so many different kinds. And so you can become a member of the Internet or the National Button Society, but you can also ask to join just the Facebook group for the Button Society, and it's really, really fun. So they'll ask a question on there like, everyone show me your sports buttons or whatever.
Oh, that's cute.
And so everybody kind of chimes in. And that's the part that I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a button like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. But they also, when they get together, and they have competitions about buttons.
Dang.
So, and this is how they submit them, is sewn onto cards.
Oh.
So they'll have like a collection. They sew it onto a nice looking card, and that's how they submit it. They call it something, not a card. They call it
a backing. A portfolio.
No. I can't remember. That's okay, though. It doesn't matter. Okay. And then, so I also have these little baggies of vintage white buttons, too. Oh, look at this. It's like a belt thing.
Yeah.
Ooh. I like these because I sew clothes for my Madame Alexander doll.
Oh,
Look at how cute this rectangle one is.
look at this flower one.
So cute. I like this topic today because I have noticed a lot of people asking in the sewing Facebook groups, where's everybody getting buttons now that Joann's is gone? Hobby Lobby has a very small selection, but I highly recommend you going on Etsy, eBay if you're into it, and just looking at your thrift stores and antique stores, because this is where I found, and I do have, like, these are all kind of individual, but I have found a lot of really cool matching sets too. So just look so that you have them on hand, especially white ones, metal ones, wood ones. I have some leather buttons.
Oh, yeah.
Leather's
you
one
do.
we didn't discuss.
What's that?
These are the kitties. I showed them while you were in the...
Walmart.
This one says Walmart.
That's so funny.
This must be a really old button company, Les Boutons.
Iowa. How old is Iowa?
Made in Iowa? That's what it says?
Yeah.
No, made in Italy. Oh.
Iowa.
Le Bouton buttons is in
Lansing,
Iowa.
Huh.
Interesting.
But those are made in Italy.
I wonder, I bet somebody knows about this. Les
Yeah,
Boutons.
Walmart.
You have to send us
88
an
cents.
email. You can send us any emails about this topic to makinghistorypodcast@yahoo.com. We love getting listener mail. I'm actually about to read some listener mail.
These ones are from New Jersey.
Really?
Karlstad's, a division of Belding Hemingway Co.
Oh,
Interesting.
interesting. Okay, we got some great listener mail about our last episode. By the way, we record this podcast in both video form and audio form. If you listened to the audio version last month of the episode about friendship quilts and funeral quilts, you heard the whole thing. But we didn't realize till 2 weeks later that the YouTube episode started in the middle. So we deleted it. I re-uploaded it. So if it sounded like we started in the middle of the episode on the YouTube version,
It's because we did. Yeah.
But the whole thing is there now.
Yeah.
It will make a lot more sense, especially because we
our
were dressed up in
outfits.
costumes. We think it's so funny that nobody said anything.
Not even
Okay.
her parents. Like, how'd you like the episode? Loved it.
I know.
Oh
my
my
parents were
gosh.
like, that was great. And I'm like, why didn't you
Why
tell
didn't
me?
you say?
And then when I told them it was only half, they're like, well, we thought that was weird. I'm like, next
You
time,
weren't going to say anything?
say something. Okay, so this person, her name is, she didn't tell me her name.
Kayla. It's up in her.
Oh. Where?
Right there in her
so
email.
sorry. Kayla. Kayla said, I was just watching your podcast on friendships and funeral quilts, and you had mentioned burial quilts. My husband and I bought plots at our local cemetery that has a green burial section. It's interesting, so I thought I'd share. The cemetery we're using has a large traditional burial section with headstones, lawn maintenance, and the usual, but it also has a green burial section. It's basically a big meadow that they mow a few paths into and mow entirely once a year. It's all native plants, and it's a very beautiful place. The way this cemetery is set up, you can have a grave site right by the walkway and use a boulder or rock found on the property to be engraved as a headstone, or you can choose a site further afield with no option for a grave marker. There's also a memorial wall that has rocks that can be engraved with the names of those we've loved and lost who rest in the green burial lot. Basically, whichever one of us passes first can go sit on the bench there and visit. That's sweet.
That is cute.
The cemetery is busy on Saturdays. People come and have coffee with their loved ones and enjoy the meadow. She talks about some wildlife they see there, and then she gave me a website. I don't have any pictures to share myself. I mean, because she's still alive.
Yeah.
So is her husband, thankfully. As of now, you own the grave space in perpetuity, though that seems silly to me, and I wouldn't be surprised if that changes in the future. She says she is a sewist and quilts. She plans to make herself a burial quilt. It needs to be 100% cotton so that it biodegrades. Everything there buried there needs to be biodegradable except things like joint replacements and implants.
Oh my gosh.
She's still trying to decide what she wants to use to make it meaningful. So that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Would you do that?
Yeah. I'd do that.
I would too.
But the
I
thing
don't
is,
know.
like, I would want to do it so that I could walk around there through the meadow, but then I would be dead.
Yeah, you wouldn't be the one walking around.
Yeah.
I would want a marker of some sort.
Yeah.
We have a really famous cemetery in Louisville that we like to go to take pictures and take walks through. I love cemeteries.
It's so pretty.
And the history there is super cool. Here's another one. She said, this is from Marcella. I watched the podcast about friendship and funeral quilts on YouTube. Great costumes. Layla does look just like the girl in the pearl earring. It's true.
It is true.
Lots of people commented that.
Really?
I also love funeral quilts and enjoy a good cemetery. I go there to walk for exercise. There's very little traffic and it's peaceful there. Anyway, there is a cookbook that was recently released called To Die For. The author compiled recipes from all across the country that people have on their headstones.
That's so cool.
I bought the book but haven't tried out any of the recipes yet. Wanted to share that funerary-related info with you all.
That's cool.
I think that's really cool, and
Yeah.
now I want to go back to our cemetery and just look for recipes. Wouldn't that be so fun?
That's so cool.
Yeah, so those are the two we have today. Please send us more emails because we love them. And if there's a picture included that relates, then we love those especially even more.
Yeah, and if you want to submit for the December episode on the craziest Christmas crafts, please send us those as well.
We want weird and wild and wonderful Christmas crafts to talk about in our December episode, which will be next month. And then after that, we're going to start 2-a-month podcasts.
Yay.
Hopefully we can handle it. Hopefully I can handle the research and you can handle the editing.
Yeah.
Okay, before we close, let me tell you the really fun factoids. The first is about the military buttons. So in World War II, the military, like the ones who were flying planes in enemy territory, had hidden compass buttons on themselves.
That's so cool.
And there were lots of different kinds. Like, they were made by different countries. Some of them were, like, really tiny so they could be hidden. Some of them were designed with a plastic cover so that they could be swallowed if they got captured, because they would want to get it back if they escaped.
That's so cool.
And some of them were just obvious, like they looked like compasses and you could tell what it was. Some of them actually were functional buttons that had a cap that popped off, so it was a secret compass inside.
That's like those poison rings.
Yes.
That's so cool.
It was super cool. They were called escape and evasion buttons. Huh. Isn't that cool?
That's really cool.
So, that's the kind of thing I know. Now that I know there's fancy button collectors, though, I feel like I'll never find one. But if I ever did happen to see one, that's cool to just look at one in person. Yeah. Yeah. And then the other one is that there is actually a fear of buttons. I cannot pronounce this word, and I have like great pronunciation skills.
Is that an A?
It's K-A-U-M-P-O-U-N-ophobia.
Campaunophobia?
Compound. Yeah, that sounds right.
Campaunophobia.
Yeah. Why would someone be afraid of buttons?
I don't know. I feel like it'd maybe be like an off branch of triphobia with the holes.
Yes, that's a possibility.
That feels correct. Or maybe like it's a fear of being restrained.
Yes, the book lists some reasons why people have childhood trauma surrounding buttons. Like, they couldn't get the hang of it and got made fun of. Oh, or they feel trapped in the buttons. There's too many. Yeah. Yeah, like straight jacket. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting.
Okay, there are my two really interesting fun factoids.
Love.
We'll see y'all soon.
Bye.
Bye.